Welcome to Football with Cheese. So, my microphone is dead. I knew it wasn't working well. The last two Lights Out podcasts, link in the description, every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. I do with my buddy Mike. I noticed the last two, the sound wasn't very good. I knew the microphone was dying. There was even a part of the podcast where Mike couldn't even hear me. It's a shame. So I need a new microphone. I do not like headsets, but this is what I have for now. Hope you can hear me. So, before we get started, if you have not subscribed, please do so now. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss one of my videos. We are going to do the Week 4 NFL preview, but first, we're going to talk about the Seahawks-Arizona Cardinals game from last night. If you do not know, before we get to that, on Monday night, Mike and I from the Lights Out podcast, link in the description, like I said, we're going to do a watch-along for the Bengals-Broncos Monday Night Football game. There's actually two Monday night games. The Jets-Dolphins, we're not going to do a watch-along for that. I have two TVs. I'll have both games on because they're on at the same time. I think the Bengals-Broncos game starts an hour after the Dolphins-Jets. But we're going to have guests on. We'll have at least one Bengals and one Broncos content creator on there. So you make sure you check that out. Just mute your TV and you don't have to listen to Aikman and Buck. You're welcome. You can listen to me and Mike and our guests. So check that out. Okay, so Seahawks, Cardinals. This was a disaster for the Cardinals till really the last 8 minutes of the game. Absolute disaster offensively. Even worse disaster than those Cardinals uniforms. If you watch the game, I don't know what was going on with those. They were all white, but the red was too bright. It wasn't the dark red they usually have. And then there was like sparkles on the jersey. Looked like bad cake icing. But what a horrible first half from Marvin Harrison Jr. Just a nightmare first half. He wasn't in the game at all. He ran the wrong route. It led to an incompletion on third down. And then the worst was, it was a great throw by Kyler Murray. Hits him right in the hands, bounces off it right into the Seattle defender. It was almost like he was trying to lose. He wasn't in the game at all. His effort was horrible. And Kirk Herbstreit's calling the game. He should not be calling Thursday night games. He's not an NFL player. He never played in the NFL. He's a college guy only. And he's just not very good at it. But he's saying, he just lost his confidence. That's not what I saw. That might be part of it, but that's not what I saw Herbstreit. Of course, they both went to Ohio State, so he's not going to call him out. I wonder if Marvin Harrison Jr. went to Michigan, if Kirk Herbstreit would have called him out. I think he would have. We'll never know. But he just looked like he was going through motions, wasn't trying. He just looked like an unhappy person. It changed in the second half. We'll get to that. But the Seahawks did win by 3, and that first half performance really cost them. Both interceptions were Marvin Harrison Jr.'s fault, not Kyler Murray's. Luckily, though, one of those interceptions, the Seahawks defensive player fumbled. The Cardinals got it right back, I think 5 yards better. So they gained 5 yards on one of them. But it felt like MHJ was just trying to screw up. Like, I don't know if he wanted out of the Cardinals. Someone got to him at halftime because the second half was much better. Okay. Another play I want to talk about. There's a goal line touchdown by Zach Charbonnet, the running back for the Seahawks. Josh Sweat, the free agent pickup from the Eagles, big money free agent, had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl for the Eagles last year. He just gives up on a play. He eventually gets off his block and stands there. And other guys are trying to tackle Charbonnet. He gets in for the touchdown. I'm wondering if Josh Sweat could have prevented the touchdown if he tried. He stood there. That was called out by Herbstreit. Josh Sweat did not go to Ohio State, so he called him out. Anyway. But Sweat came out, just like Marvin Harrison Jr. played much better in the second half. He came out and beat Charles Cross, really good left tackle for a strip sack. But the Seahawks did recover that. But before we get into the second half performance, I don't think it's working with Jonathan Gannon. I did like the fourth quarter performance, but I never advocate for someone to get fired. But Jonathan Gannon, it's just not working. Too many players just aren't playing hard. Some of these game plans, offense, defensively, are just very vanilla. I don't see a lot of really good scheming from either the offense or defense. It's just not working. It could change. We'll see, but you just watch some of these teams, and it's just not working. Callahan in Tennessee, Mike McDaniel obviously in Miami. I don't think Gannon is going to be the head coach next year if they miss the playoffs, and this game really hurts their chances. Kennard Walker, other running back for the Seahawks, had a dumb penalty. He threw the ball at the Cardinal player, cost them field goal range. That was dumb. It was just a mess of a game. It got really fun at the end, though. So it's 20-6, under 6 minutes to go. And I'm trashing Marvin Harrison Jr., texting to friends, messaging Mike from the podcast, who is a Cardinal fan. And then Kyler Murray makes a terrific throw, but even better catch by Marvin Harrison Jr., and he got really emotional after the catch. So I think someone got to him at halftime and said, look, what are you doing? You've got to do better. So that cut it to 20-13. Then I believe the Seahawks missed a field goal. And if they hit that, it's pretty much over. So the Cardinals go down, get another touchdown. It was a pass to the running back. But here's the problem. They left 33 seconds on the clock. And that's way too much. In today's NFL, you have to get it under 20. If you leave even like 22 seconds, that's plenty of time to get a field goal, even with no timeouts. Now 60 yards is no problem. And 50 yards is like a chip shot. And it was a 52-yard kick, but it was a 2nd and 7. Really need to run the ball there and try to get it under 20 seconds. But, I mean, of course, you take the touchdown. I just wonder if he'd fallen down the one, if it would have gone to overtime. But, you know, you got to take the touchdown. Tough loss for the Cardinals. The loser of this game is in bad shape. The winner's in great shape. I said in the preview, the Cardinals are 2-2, but they're 0-2 in the division. And they've already lost the Seahawks. And the Niners haven't even played the Rams yet, who are very good. So, really tough. Max Melton, by the way, cornerback for the Cardinals, played really well. He had a very good game. Second-year player from Rutgers. You know, Will Johnson did not play for the Cardinals. That really hurt them as well. The rookie second-round pick, he's an absolute stud from Michigan. So 23-20, Seahawks get the win. They're 3-1. Cardinals 2-2. All right, preview time. I'm going to try to quickly go through these. I do not want to have an hour-long video. Hopefully it's just 40 minutes. We'll see. Minnesota 2-1, playing Pittsburgh 2-1 in Dublin, Ireland. Minnesota favored by 2.5. So I'm wondering if you guys are actually going to watch this on NFL Network. I believe it's on NFL Network. I'm going to get up and watch it, obviously. But let me know in the chat. Comment about any of these games. Are you going to watch this game? So Carson Wentz gets the start again for the Vikings. Played really well last week, but he was playing ahead. I mean, it was just a slaughter against the Bengals. So it's much easier to play when you're ahead. Jordan Mason's been playing outstanding. The running back, he's better at this point than Aaron Jones, who's injured. It's a great trade for the Vikings to get him. And Jordan Addison is back as well, the receiver. And Steelers, if you did not know, didn't see my recap video, they're bottom 5 in yards per game on offense and defense. That's terrible. They're 2-1 because they forced all these turnovers. They beat the Patriots by 7 and forced like 5 turnovers. That's how they've been winning games. They could easily be 0-3. And this is not going well for the Steelers. I thought their defense would be a lot better than this. Aaron Rodgers is not playing well. The stats look okay. 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But he has really struggled under pressure. And he's making throws he just never did in his career with Green Bay. Just dumb decisions. Throwing almost right to the defenders. That's one thing in Green Bay. He hardly ever threw interceptions. He hardly ever made dumb decisions in the field. And he seems to be doing that. And a lot of the Steelers' touchdowns, from what I've seen, I think are schemed up really well by Arthur Smith. It's not Aaron Rodgers necessarily making the play. Or really good contested catches by Calvin Austin or DK Metcalf. Speaking of DK Metcalf, they're not using him right. If you watch him in Seattle, what you do with him is he's big and he's fast. Get the ball in his hands down the field. That's what you do with Metcalf. And the Steelers really aren't doing that. They need to feature him more. Steelers are second to last in rushing. Awful. That's not Steelers football. Jalen Warren's having a good year, but he's doing it catching the ball and not rushing. They've got to establish the run and work the play action with DK Metcalf. That's what the Steelers need to do. And play better defense, or they're in trouble. Alex Highsmith is out. That won't help the defense. He's the pass rusher opposite Watt. He won't travel to Dublin. J.J. McCarthy is out. Obviously, we talked about Carson Wentz starting. He has some phantom ankle injury, which he didn't seem to have at all the whole game against the Falcons. Maybe hurt in the locker room after. I don't know. I think they're just giving him a few weeks off. But if Carson Wentz plays well in Dublin, and I'm guessing he's going to start next week in the London game. Yes, they're playing 2 games overseas. That's so dumb, but that's the topic of another video. I've trashed these international games plenty of times. If Wentz plays well, you can't put McCarthy in there because McCarthy's looked terrible -1 quarter. He had a great fourth quarter against the Bears. Otherwise, he's been awful. And Donovan Jackson, the left guard, is probably not going to play. That hurts. If you watched the game against the Falcons, the Vikings don't have any backup offensive linemen that are worth a shit. But Ryan Kelly's back at center. Darisaw was back last week. But that's something to watch is the left guard spot. I would put TJ Watt over the left guard in passing situations, absolutely. I'm going to take the Vikings -2.5. I think they're just better. And analytics shows that Steelers just have not been good at all this year. They pretty much have to force Carson Wentz into mistakes to win this game. So I'll take the Vikings -2.5 in Dublin. All right. Titans, Texans. Both 0-3. My gosh. The Texans, let's talk about them first. The offense is dead last in points per game, 4th to last in yards per game. The offensive line is terrible. The wide receivers minus Nico Collins have been awful. They need to scheme up Nico Collins more. They finally did this past game. They just got to feed him. They just have to. He's just so good. But what they need to do is play their 2 rookie Iowa State wide receivers. They took Jaden Higgins in the 2nd round, Jalen Noel in the 3rd round. Stop playing Christian Kirk. He's injured all the time. He's not the player he used to be. I get why they acquired him. They thought they need another veteran in there. But he's just not good. Play the young guys. They're talented. Let them get experience because it's not working minus Nico Collins. Both these teams need 2 or 3 new starters on the offensive line. I feel like I'm going to say that about so many teams. Offensive line play is just so bad right now. But it is a good offensive line draft. I do think the Texans will get the win at home. They absolutely have to. If you lose at home to the Titans and go 0-4, we've already heard boo birds. It's going to get way worse. And the Texans can rush the passer. That's one thing they can do. And J.C. Latham has not been practicing. He probably won't play, the right tackle for the Titans. So I think the Texans will take this and cover the 7 points just because I think it's a bad matchup for the Titans. I think their offense could struggle to even score 10 points because the Texans do have a good defense. They are missing Derek Stingley Jr. I don't think he's going to play, the star corner for the Texans, but the Titans don't have very good wide receivers. So this is the one game it's okay him missing because I don't think the Titans receivers are going to get open anyway. So give me the Texans to win, but maybe 10 points, 20-10. We'll call it 20-10. Texans have to win this game to save their season. Eagles go to Tampa Bay. Mike Evans unlikely to play for the Buccaneers. Chris Godwin might play. Looks like he will. He practiced fully on Wednesday. Did not practice Thursday, but I read that it was just resting that ankle. I don't know how effective he can be coming off that horrible injury last year. What I would do if I'm the Eagles, I put a safety over top of Emeka Egbuka. He's been tremendous, the rookie first-round pick from Ohio State. That's what I would do. Sterling Shepard's not scaring me at all. I would make sure Egbuka cannot beat me. And also Bucky Irving. Don't let Bucky Irving go off, and the Eagles should be fine. The Bucs still have offensive line issues, but it looks like Tristan Wirth is good to go. On the Eagles side, Zach Bond and Jihad Campbell both did not practice. If they both do not play, that could hurt the linebacking core for the Eagles. Lane Johnson, good news for them, is fine. He had a stinger. I know it sounds like such a wuss injury, but I think stingers hurt. I think you get like a stinger in your neck, and it's just really painful, but it heals quick. Nolan Smith, pass rusher for the Eagles, is an IR with tricep injuries. Both teams, let's be honest, they're lucky to be 3-0. Eagles absolutely should not be. They should have lost the Rams last week. Could have lost the Cowboys in week 1. The Buccaneers have found a way to win 3 close games with all their offensive line injuries. Their luck might run out. And Baker Mayfield, I got to give him credit. He's played well down the stretch. I think he's the most efficient quarterback. You look at analytics with pressure. And somehow he's thrown 0 interceptions, leading the league last year. That luck might run out. I'm predicting he will throw an interception in this game. I don't know what to do with this game. Without Mike Evans, that's really tough. Bucs usually show up against good teams. Usually the Bucs' losses are against teams they should beat. Like I think they beat the Lions and the Eagles in the regular season last year. God, I don't know. It's in Tampa. I don't want to make a pick. I don't want to. My head is saying take the Eagles -3.5, but I'm taking the Bucs. They're at home. Home dogs. We'll take the Bucs. I could change. Okay. Chargers, Giants, 3-0 versus 0-3. Chargers by 6.5. I'll tell you right now, I'm taking the Chargers. It's Jackson starts first start. Jackson starts? Jackson? I can't talk on a Friday. Jackson Dart's first start. Okay. I think it's going to go bad. Malik Neighbors is banged up. He's questionable. He's probably going to play. If he doesn't, Jackson Dart is screwed. The offensive line's terrible. The only good player on the offensive line is Andrew Thomas, the left tackle, and he's always banged up. It seems like he always practices on a limited basis. I think it's a really tough first start for Jackson Dart because the Chargers defense has been terrific this year. Jesse Minter has done a great job the last 2 years as defensive coordinator. No one really talks about him. I think their defense has overachieved based on their personnel, but they've been really tough this year. Khalil Mack is out with a dislocated elbow, and Najee Harris, their backup running back, tore his Achilles. But Justin Herbert's been outstanding this year. The receivers have been better than expected. They haven't missed Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, yet this year. But the Giants, to win this game, the defense has to get pressure on Herbert. They have very good pass rush. Keep it low scoring, and Cam Skadboom must have a big game. You need to feature him and take the pressure off Jackson Dart. Establish play action. The Chargers are just better. As long as they don't make mistakes, they'll win, probably easily. So I'm taking them -6.5. Panthers, Patriots, both 1-2. I don't know what to tell you about these two teams. The winner's 2-2. The loser's 1-3. I don't see either one making the playoffs. The Patriots, you want to play them now. I don't want to play them late in the year. They had a huge roster turnover. They got a lot of young players. I think they'll be better as the season goes on. They might be that team that is 4-7 that goes on a run and maybe gets to 9-7, 10-7. Probably not. But with all the new players on the roster and 5 turnovers last week against the Steelers, just awful. Lost 4 fumbles. Ramondre Stevenson, I just either move on from him or just have him inactive. 2 fumbles and 4 carries. Just awful. That's been an issue for him. They gave him a 4-year, $36 million extension before last season, $17 million guaranteed. I'm sure he's going to be released at the end of the year. It's just been a disaster. And they drafted Travion Henderson in the second round. That told you all you need to know. So, wow. I mean, they really outplayed the Steelers last week, but all the turnovers, they lost by 7. Jared Wilson has not practiced, the rookie starting guard. And Christian Gonzalez might actually play. Their starting corner. He's really good man cover corner. Different defense with him out there. He might actually play. We'll see how many snaps he does. For the Panthers, injuries, Chuba Hubbard and Tedero McMillan have been limited this week. They're probably going to play, but that's something to monitor because those are 2 weapons on offense. Really, they're only 2 weapons this year. The Panthers, I just don't understand them. They looked terrible in the first 2 games. The defense especially. And then they won 30-0 against the Falcons. That's with Bijan Robinson playing pretty well. The defense really stepped it up, though. They dominated. They forced turnovers. That game was crazy. I thought the Falcons would win. I'm still not buying them. I think the Patriots win. God, Vegas 5.5. They believe in the Patriots. They don't believe in the Panthers. Whew. I was hoping this game would be Patriots by 3. Then I was going to take them. I'm still taking them 5.5. They say they win by a touchdown. Panthers just haven't looked good on the road. Browns, Lions. Browns are coming off a huge upset against the Packers. Lions have looked so good the last 2 weeks. When at Baltimore, just an outstanding game for them. They're favored by 10. That's pretty high, just considering the Browns' defense has been so good this year. And they should have beaten the Bengals. They should be 2-1. I don't know how they beat the Packers. Packers gave them the game. We've talked about that. I don't want to talk more about it. But Browns, what they need to do is watch the Packers-Lions game. That's how you beat the Lions. That's how you stop the offense. Get pressure, make them dink and dunk it. Don't let Amon-Ra or Jameson Williams get open downfield or Sam Laporta. Don't give Goff time. That's how you beat him, and you stop the run. And the Browns can do that, so they can keep it close and low scoring. I've never seen the Lions offense struggle like that against Green Bay. Basically got 6 points. They got a late touchdown that probably wasn't a touchdown, but they basically got 6 offensive points in that game. And the Browns need to take advantage of the interior offensive line. That's the biggest weakness for the Lions offense. Put Myles Garrett in the middle. You know, you got Mason Graham. You got some really good players in that defensive line for the Browns. The problem is the Browns' offense stinks. Packers' offense is much better. So I do not see an upset in this game. The Browns lead the league in yards allowed, and they've played Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love. That's crazy. And now they're playing a really good offense again. Myles Garrett's just amazing. He affects the game so much. He's one of the best pass rushers I've ever seen. The best pass rusher I have seen since Reggie White. And Taylor Decker has not been practicing, the left tackle for the Lions. That could be a problem. So Browns' hope is do what they did against the Packers, keep it low scoring, try to win 13-10. But the Lions are at home in the Dome. More rhyming. We're rhyming a lot today. I think the Lions will just pull away in the second half. Browns have got to just establish the run with Quinshon Judkins and have 0 turnovers. That's the only chance they have. But the Browns O-line has got some injuries. If they pass the ball 40 times, they're in trouble. I think the Lions actually cover the 10. God, that's so many points, though. I think they cover the 10, but they win by 13-14, something like that. Saints, Bills, 0-3 versus 3-0. We don't spend much time on this game. The spread is 15.5. You don't see spreads that high very often. I think it's going to be an absolute slaughter. Josh Allen is just playing incredible. It's just a terrible matchup for the Saints. They looked awful on the road in Seattle. I have to go on the road again to Buffalo. You basically can't stop the Bills' offense. You can't. So you just have to outscore them. The Saints don't have the offensive players to do that. The Dolphins try. They got 21 points, but you basically have to score 30-some points to beat the Bills. And the Saints aren't doing that. Bills lead the NFL in yards per game and rushing yards per game. James Cook's been amazing this year, and of course Josh Allen can run the ball. Spencer Rattler for the Saints, he's been better than expected, considering he doesn't have a lot of help. Not the greatest offensive line. He does have Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, but I think it's going to be a rough game for the Saints. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills win by 24, 28 points. Yeah, it could be like 41-17, something like that. Saints, what they should do is start shopping their free agents next year and get as many picks in 2026 as possible, just in case they win enough games late in the year to pick 5th or 6th so they can move up in the draft and get one of those stud quarterbacks. So I'll take the Bills minus 15.5. God, so many points, but did I really just take a team that's favored by 10 and 15.5? I'm probably going to lose one of those games for sure. Oh well. Washington Commanders versus Atlanta Falcons. Washington would be 2-2 if they lost. And the Falcons' defense dominated Minnesota. And looked pretty good against the Buccaneers. Probably played better than the score indicated against the Panthers. But they need to do that because the offense has just not been good. The Falcons' offensive line's been disappointing. Penix has not played well. Bijan Robinson is terrific. Their game plan should be to feed Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier and just play defense. Because the passing game just hasn't been there. The pass blocking hasn't been good. They look so good against Minnesota and so terrible against Carolina, but they kick way too many field goals. When you have Bijan Robinson, you should be making touchdowns. I think they attempted 5 field goals against Minnesota. You just can't always do that. Man, it's in the Dome in Atlanta. I don't know. I'm going to take Atlanta. Washington's favored by 1.5. I'll take Atlanta. I'll give them one more shot. I think their defense does well. Keeps it close. They don't have a kicker, though. No, I'm taking Washington. I'm taking Falcons. No, the Falcons don't have a kicker. That's a problem for a team that has trouble scoring touchdowns. Give me the Falcons. Jaguars versus 49ers. 2-1 versus 3-0. That's a surprise. Niners by 3. I think it would be more if not for the injuries for the 49ers. Nick Bosa, he basically was their pass rush towards the ACLs out for the year. Juwan Jennings is also out. And that's important because George Kittle is out and Brandon Ayuk's not back yet. And Ricky Pearsall has knee soreness. What is going on with all their weapons? But Brock Purdy should play, the quarterback, and Christian McCaffrey is still amazing. Despite all those injuries, they found a way to be 3-0. Jaguars are just up and down, usually by the drive. Look great against Carolina at home, but it's Carolina. And the Texans, they beat them at home. Texans have been awful this year. Basically, their 2 wins are against teams that are a combined 1-5. They lost to the Bengals, probably should have won that game. But I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. He's so inconsistent. And he and Brian Thomas Jr. are not on the same page. I know a lot of people have criticized BTJ for not always running the routes, but I think he's tired of taking hits and getting killed. Because Trevor Lawrence, he doesn't care. He'll try to fit in tight windows. He doesn't care if you get injured. You have to take care of your receivers. You cannot put them in harm's way. So I think he's frustrated. So I'll defend Brian Thomas Jr., but they've got to find a way to connect. They've got to feature BTJ. He's so talented. He's so big. He's so fast. Jaguars cannot give Parker Washington 11 targets and expect to beat the 49ers on the road. That's what they did last week. But I think Trevor Lawrence just wanted to send a message to BTJ. You're not running these routes, so I'm going to feature the other guy. But that's just stupid. One matchup I want to see is Josh Hines-Allen versus Trent Williams, one of the best pass rushers in the game versus one of the best left tackles. Because Josh Hines-Allen is off to a great start this year. Jaguars going out west, too inconsistent for me. I'm going to take the Niners to win a close one and cover the 3 points. I'll say they win 24-20. Okay. Indianapolis Colts at Los Angeles Rams. Huge game. Wow. No one expected the Colts to be 3-0. The Colts have just been amazing on offense this year. Now, Braden Smith, the right tackle, has been limited. If he doesn't play, that could hurt. The Rams' defensive line is so good at rushing the passer everywhere. They don't have a weakness. Byron Young and Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, Poona Ford, they're just loaded on the defensive line. But the Colts have a chance to be 4-0. Daniel Jones has looked so good. He's not made mistakes. That's the key with him. Do not make mistakes. You have Jonathan Taylor. You have unbelievable receivers. You have a great young tight end. Do not make mistakes. And he hasn't. Jonathan Taylor's looked amazing. Will the Rams stop the run? How you beat the Rams is you take advantage of their weak cornerback room. That's what the Eagles did. And the Colts do have the receivers and tight ends to do that. Will they do it? I do not know. The Rams blew a 26-7 lead at Philadelphia last week. Will they respond? That's the question I have. And can the Colts get some stops with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams? Man, I'm looking forward to this game. I don't know what to pick. I could see it going both ways. 2 block kicks. Rams, really? 2 block kicks in the fourth quarter. If one of them isn't blocked, you win. Wow. Okay. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's the Rams by 3.5. I'll take the Rams. I take the Rams at home. Maybe. I'm so indecisive today. These are tough. Bears, Raiders. So Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the NFL. If you look at Bears Twitter, all the Bears writers, he's the best quarterback in NFL history probably. Yeah, he is. Some Bears writer was acting like Caleb Williams is the best thing that's ever lived. He was pointing out he's got better stats than the other 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 12 of the draft last year. But Jaden Daniels played the Packers and missed a game. Bo Nix has looked bad. Michael Penix has looked bad. And Caleb Williams played the Cowboys, who have a really bad pass defense. More on that when I talk Packers, Cowboys. He also put up huge stats in garbage time against the Lions when they were way behind. And he was terrible against the Vikings. He was awful in that game. And, of course, I called the writer out on it. Every time I criticize Caleb Williams on X, I get restricted. Bears Twitter, or X, is reporting me every time I comment on Caleb Williams. Luckily, I'm not restricted anymore, but I was when I woke up this morning. Of course I was. I'm just telling the truth. He has not been very good. Analytics shows that. He had a great game against the Cowboys, no doubt about it. But the Cowboys' defense stinks. They let you just run down the field and have free deep balls. Luther Burden, Rome Odunze. Here you go. The Cowboys' pass defense made Russell Wilson and the Giants' offense look amazing. Give up 37 points. So, of course, Caleb Williams had a big game. I still do not believe in Caleb Williams at all. He doesn't throw interceptions, though, so it's going to make his stats look better. He's pretty good at just taking the sack or throwing it away. Or he just misses the receiver so bad that he misses the cornerback as well. He's only thrown 7 interceptions in his 20 career games. But the one he threw this year to the Lions was awful. I don't know what he was thinking. It was just terrible. In his career, he's thrown 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. 27 touchdowns in 20 games, that's awful. It needs to be at least 35 or 40. but only 7 interceptions. So I'll say something nice about Caleb Williams. He doesn't throw a lot of picks. There you go. And that writer pointed out that he was Offensive Player of the Week, but so was J.J. McCarthy week 1. So, against the Bears, of course. Like I said, every time Caleb Williams has a great game, it's going to be pointed out by the Bears media, national media, Ben Johnson. Oh, yeah, he's good. Yeah, everything's fixed. Everything's great. I cannot wait for the Bears to play the Packers defense. Unfortunately, it's not till late in the year. They actually play them twice in 3 weeks. I think weeks 14 and 16. That's so dumb. They got to spread those out. Okay. Now, the Raiders. We talk about Caleb Williams a lot on this channel. Because I'm one of the few people who actually tells the truth. The Raiders' defense is pretty bad as well. Not quite as bad as the Cowboys. So he could have a good game. Absolutely. He is on the road. I do like that they're featuring Rome Odunze, for sure. And Luther Burden. Both very talented young players. But what's going on with DJ Moore? Is he being phased out? There was a play against Minnesota where DJ Moore should have had a touchdown and Caleb Williams just missed him by 5 yards. In 2023, DJ Moore, 96 catches. Last year, 98 catches. He's on pace for 68 catches this year. I get wanting to feature the young guys more. I don't know. Maybe they'll trade him. There are a lot of teams that would love to trade for DJ Moore. But Geno Smith, he's up and down. He was awful against the Chargers. Looked much better last week against Washington. They were way behind, though. But one of the biggest problems for the Raiders, besides their terrible defense, is the offensive line cannot run block. It's like none of those guys are good at run blocking. You drafted Ashton Jeanty 6 overall, one of the best college running backs I have ever seen. And you don't have anyone that can block for him. Yes, he's great at breaking tackles. Yes, he's got great contact balance, but not when he's being hit behind the line almost every play. It's not going to work. So once again, we mentioned this with a lot of teams. They need offensive line help, especially guard help, people that can run block. Because you used high draft capital, 6th pick overall on a running back, and you don't have a line that can block for him. Raiders got to figure that out. I don't know who to pick in this game. Raiders pretty much have to outscore people, but I think they can score a lot of points in the Bears' defense. Both defenses aren't very good. Coin flip game. Bears are favored by 1. I'll take the Raiders, obviously. Okay. Ooh, big time game here. Ravens, Chiefs. Both 1-2. Who had that in your bingo card? Nobody. The Ravens are favored by 2.5 on the road. A little surprising. Chiefs do get Xavier Worthy back. At least I think they do. That's what I read. The deep passing game for the Chiefs has been good with Tyquan Thornton. Now you get Xavier Worthy back. So that's one positive for the Chiefs. But they have not run the ball well. Their leading rusher is Patrick Mahomes. They've got to figure that out. The Ravens, their offense is outstanding. It's a terrific offense. But the defense has been terrible this year, especially the run defense, and they don't get much pass rush. They have good corners and safeties, a really good group. But it doesn't matter if you don't rush the passer and stop the run. They've given up 96 points in 3 games. That's horrible. And one of the teams they played was the Browns, whose offense stinks. Wow. Lamar Jackson's playing like an MVP. He does. 9 touchdowns, 0 picks this year. But if you watch him against the Lions, he held the ball way too long. He took a ton of sacks he shouldn't have. He either needs to take off running or throw it away. You know, the Lions defense is doing a great job. Those receivers are not separating. He doesn't have a great receiving group. They really miss Isaiah Likely more than they probably realize, because then they can play 12 personnel, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. And when you have 2 really good receiving tight ends, it's very tough to scheme against. So hopefully Isaiah Likely for them is back soon. Derrick Henry, he's a stud. He's amazing. Future Hall of Famer. But his fumble against Buffalo cost him the game, and it may have cost him the game against the Lions. I still don't think they beat the Lions, but they definitely beat the Bills, and are 2-1. He's got to get that cleaned up. And he never used to fumble. Crazy. So one of these teams is going to be 1-3. Holy shit. I looked it up. Teams that are 1-3 have a 14% chance since 1990 to make the playoffs. Now, most teams that are 1-3 aren't the Chiefs or Ravens, aren't as talented as them. Still, that's worth noting. I think the Chiefs probably need this more because the Chargers are 3-0. I think the Ravens could start 1-3 and still win their division because Joe Burrow's hurt, because the Steelers really haven't looked good, and the Browns are the Browns. Tough one. Man. Ravens are on a short week and on the road. So I'm tempted to pick the Chiefs, and Steve Spagnuolo probably has done as well as anyone at scheming the Ravens. So I'm going to take the Ravens still. I don't know why. I'm going to take the Ravens. I think they take this. I think the defense plays a little bit better. So give me the Ravens to win by 3 and cover the 2.5. 30-27. Okay. We're almost done. 3 games left. Packers, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. Packers coming off the worst loss Matt LaFleur's probably ever had. Cowboys, they're 1-2. Their only win was against the Giants, and they easily could have lost that game. It was a shootout. Although they could have beaten the Eagles. They played pretty well in that game. They were awful against the Bears. Their defense is just horrific. Here's the stat. Yards per dropback. Packers lead the league, only giving up 4.3 yards per dropback. That's per pass, per dropback. So it doesn't just count passes, it counts sacks as well, or quarterback scrambling. Cowboys are dead last, 9.4. Not 9.4 yards per pass, per dropback. Ooh. Absolutely terrible. We saw the Giants and the Bears, who don't have great quarterbacks, just light them up. Wow. This could get really ugly for the Cowboys. And I haven't even mentioned Micah Parsons. So he returns to Dallas. He's going to be motivated. The team's going to be motivated for him. I think more so than Kenny Clark playing the Packers. Obviously, he wants to show Jerry Jones, you shouldn't have traded me. I think the whole defense shows up. Dak might be running for his life in this game. I want to see Tyler Guyton try to block Micah Parsons one-on-one. He won't. They're going to have someone chipping or double-teaming him. But I think Micah Parsons is going to have a monster game. I think Jeff Hafley's going to have a plan for him. I think he's going to line up everywhere. On the edge, at linebacker, blitzing. Obviously, he's going to line up over the center guard. He's probably going to drop in coverage at times. Maybe on Jake Ferguson. Maybe against the running back. He's going to just use everything in the playbook with Micah Parsons to make sure he gets some sacks. I love having him drop his linebacker and then blitzing. He and Edgerrin Cooper, maybe sending them both. But you have to double or triple team Micah Parsons. You absolutely have to, or he's going to win the rep. And I think Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness, and Rashawn Gary all have a chance to get sacks in this game because of it. And the Cowboys' offensive line, except for Tyler Smith, left guard, who's a very, very good player. The rest of the offensive line, not so much, because Tyler Booker, the rookie right guard, first-round pick, is out. And, of course, CeeDee Lamb is out, and that kills them. He is such a good wide receiver. It just makes it so much easier to scheme. Yes, they have George Pickens, but wow. Rashawn Gary has 4.5 sacks. I believe he leads the league. He's never had 10 sacks in a season. He might get that by week 7 or 8 just because he gets a lot of one-on-ones. So, Packers defense is just incredible. It's been outstanding this year. It's a bad matchup because the Cowboys' offensive line isn't good. I think this could get ugly. Packers are only favored by 7. I know it's on the road, and they had some trouble with the offensive line calls on the road with the noise, and Cowboy fans will probably be loud, but I still think the Packers absolutely show up. They didn't show up last week, let's be honest. They did not show up at all. Jordan Love played awful. The whole offense played awful. I think Matthew Golden catches a deep ball or 2, and he gets his first touchdown in the NFL. Look for Jake Ferguson, the tight end for the Cowboys, get a ton of targets. That's what the Browns did against Green Bay. They threw to David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. Featured them a lot. Just dinking and dunking it. That's what you have to do. You have to get rid of the ball quickly. I do think Matt LaFleur is going to try to get Josh Jacobs going, feature him a lot, try to get the run game going. So I would take the Packers to cover the 7. If it was 9.5, I would take the Packers to cover. 2 games left. This will be a quick one. Jets, Dolphins, both 0-3. Both aren't going to make the playoffs. Just teams are not good enough. I do think the Jets are better, but it's in Miami. Miami's actually favored by 2.5. I thought it'd be a pick 'em. This is a draft pick game. I know you want to win if you're fans of these teams. You don't want to lose the other team. But this is a draft pick game. And if I'm a Dolphins or Jets fan, thank God I'm not, but if I am, I want to lose this game. I want to lose as many games as possible and pick first and get a quarterback. Yeah. Tua is not the answer. Justin Fields isn't the answer. They're not bad. Justin Fields and Tua are not bad players. It's just you need to do better. And you need a lot. These rosters aren't good, especially the Dolphins. Since 1990, only 4 teams that start 0-3 made the playoffs. 4 teams ever. So it's just not happening. I'm not sure if Justin Fields plays. If not, it'll be Tyrod Taylor. Miami, give them credit. They didn't look good the first 2 weeks. Didn't look like they were given much effort at times, but they look better in Buffalo. Still lost by 10. God, the Miami uniforms they're wearing, wait till you see them. They're terrible. Just terrible. Thing is, with Miami, they have some of the best uniforms in the NFL, in my opinion. And I don't even want to describe them. You'll see if you watch the game. I'm going to watch probably the first quarter or first half. Well, I'll have it on. I have 2 TVs. And we're doing the watch along, don't forget. So I'll focus more on the Bengals, Broncos. But the Dolphins' defense is terrible. They can't stop anything. Can't stop the run. Can't stop the pass. And their offensive line sucks. Their offensive line is horrible. I think Quinn Williams could have a huge game. Darren Waller, tight end, who's made of glass. He might actually play for the Dolphins. It won't matter. Oh, this is big. Storm Duck is questionable. Storm Duck, cornerback for the Dolphins, is questionable. I just like saying Storm Duck. It's the coolest name in the NFL. He's not very good. I'm going to take the Jets plus 2.5 because I just think the Jets are better. And the humidity shouldn't bother them because it's a night game. So I will take the Jets to get their first win and cover the 2.5. Bengals Broncos, once again, the watch along. Me and Mike are going to break it down. He is a Bengals fan. We're going to have a Broncos guest and a Bengals guest for sure. We might have more. We'll see. We're still working on that. So the Broncos are favored by 7.5. Obviously, Joe Burrow's out. It just kills the Bengals. They started 2-0. And with the Ravens struggling on defense, this looked like maybe their year to win the division. It's just devastating. Burrow might be able to come back if they're still in contention. I really think the Bengals need to be something like 7-7. That's probably the earliest Burrow can come back. Week 14, 15, 16, something like that. If they're 7-7, they'll be okay. But, if they're 5-9 by then, just shut Burrow down. The best thing the Bengals might be, I hate to say this, is to lose as many games as possible, pick in the top 10, trade back, and draft 3 or 4 offensive linemen. Because they have Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they have Mike Gesicki. They have so many weapons on offense, and Burrow will come back next year. But the offensive line is terrible. And Jake Browning cannot make up for that. Burrow can, because he's probably the best quarterback in the NFL under pressure. But Jake Browning cannot. And Chase Brown doesn't have any running lanes. So this could get bad. But the Broncos haven't been great this year. And we know the defense is terrific, although against the Colts, they didn't even force a punt. But Nick Bonito in the pass rush is great. That's why I think the Bengals could be in trouble. I think their offensive line's in big trouble in this game. I think the Broncos are going to get pressure early and often. They actually lead the league in pressure rate, even more than the Browns and Packers, believe it or not, who I believe are second and third. So I think the Broncos defense is in good shape. I think the Bengals are going to struggle to score points. And you got Patrick Surtain covering Jamar Chase. That's a matchup to watch. But the Broncos on offense haven't been as good as they should be, and it's because Bo Nix has not played well. Team's got a whole year of film on him. I do think he overachieved last year, but now he's underachieving. He needs to be better. I love that they finally featured Cortland Sutton in a game, and he went off. I do think the Broncos cover the 7.5. I do think they win comfortably. I don't think it's a blowout like last week when the Bengals got blown out by the Vikings. Just didn't show up at all. I do think the Broncos get this win, but Bo Nix just can't make mistakes. No interceptions, no fumbles. As long as the Broncos don't make mistakes, they will be fine. Okay, is that it? Yes, that's it. Okay. Once again, the watch along. Really excited about it. Just watch the game. Mute your TV, or if you're out and you can't watch it, you can still listen to us. We will break it down. If you're watching the Manning cast, it's going to be like that, real laid back. Just 2 guys sitting on the couch kind of watching the game. So link in the description for there. Subscribe if you have not. Hit the bell for notification. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. I might even do an instant reaction on Saturday, maybe before the night games, just to kind of recap. I don't know. I've been thinking about that for a few weeks. It's just really tough Sunday morning before the games to do a whole college recap because I have to watch highlights of the games I didn't watch a ton. I have to do a lot of research and notes. It just takes a while. Plus, you got the Steelers-Vikings game. We'll see. Once again, watch along Monday night. Tuesdays, I would do a recap, all 16 NFL games, so look out for that. Check these out if you have not, and I'll see you in the watch log on Monday night.